Okay, this video is part one of the most memorable lines in vegan history. I have made videos about this before, but I keep accumulating more quotes, so I just making a new one. I'm going to do it in multiple separate parts now. It used to be one part. Okay, first of all, we'll talk primarily about carbohydrate. Dr. McDougall quotes, all large, healthy populations eat a starch-based diet. There are no exceptions. Humans are starchivores. Starches satisfy hunger better than fruits. There are no fruitarian populations. There are no, raw-only populations. To start out, you should eat 90% of your calories, no large raw-only populations. To start out, you should eat 90% of your calories from starch and 5% each from fruits and vegetables. That makes it simple. 90% starch, 5% fruits, 5% veggies. The more starch people eat, the healthier they become. If you are trying to lose weight, then the higher percentage of calories from vegetables, up to 50% of calories, 50% of calories from vegetables you can eat. Don't go more than that. Okay, you haven't tried the ultimate in nutritional therapy unless you've eaten only sweet potatoes for 4 months. Okay, like if you want to go down the path of elimination diets and all that sort of thing. The other thing he said, like in the title of his book, Starch Solution, is people ask me what's the answer to their health problems, and I say starch is the solution. Okay, it's a solution that's cured thousands of my patients. So those are the Dr. McDougall quotes. Here's a quote from Caldwell Esselstyn. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, some people think a whole food plant-based diet is extreme. Well, 500,000 people every year have their chests open up and a vein taken from their leg and sewn onto their coronary arteries of their heart. Some people would call that extreme. Okay, Dennis Burkitt, MD, the Christian missionary doctor who trained in England, but he's Irish Christian missionary, trained in England, went to Ireland, trained in Ireland. He did some of his training in England, then he went to Africa as a missionary, and he worked in plant-based communities, and he noticed that high-fiber diets protect patients from abdominal pressure syndrome, which is all the stuff you get from being constipated, you strain at defecation with Valsalva maneuver, and the back pressure causes hiatal hernia, gastroesophageal reflux disease, esophageal carcinoma, diverticulosis, diverticulitis, dry stool causes appendicitis, down pressure into the legs, varicose veins, hemorrhoids, varicocele, inguinal hernia, periumbilical hernia, all that stuff. Okay, Dean Ornish, the joy of living is sustainable. Fear of dying is not, for motivating patients. Yeah, you tell somebody you're going to look good, you're going to feel good, you're going to age better than your spouse and all your friends and colleagues and coworkers. That's motivating. Okay, continuing on carbohydrate-related quotes, Bobby Barbaro and Cyrus Koombata. Those are the two guys with Mastering Diabetes. Cyrus Koombata has left Mastering Diabetes, but his videos are still there. And he knows a lot. They both have type 1 diabetes, and they are big proponents of eating more fruit to help diabetes patients. And they've got the numbers to back it up. They're both in excellent shape. They're kind of young. I don't know their exact age nowadays. I don't know, mid-30s, early 40s. But they're very healthy, and they've been doing this a long time, and they've taken care of many, many patients, and they've got a lot of clinical experience from feeding them different diets and testing their blood sugars and how well they do and how well they long-term stay in range, blood glucose, whatever you want it to be, 70 to 250 or something, time in range, and they are fit and healthy and energetic. They had both experimented with high-fat diets and felt terrible, real poor energy, etc. Okay, Durian Ryder, the bicycle riding maniac from somewhere out east. I don't know if he's in Thailand or something like that. He says, sugar is the most powerful enhancer for your brain, your muscles, and your dong. Okay, Neil Bernard, MD, nutrition expert. I think he was a psychiatrist before this or something. He said, the thinnest people on the planet are those who eat the most carbohydrates. Your taste buds have a memory of about 3 weeks. Yeah, then you change and you like other foods. It takes a little while to stop liking one thing, but you get used to it. You'll love the whole food plant-based diet once you get used to it, low-fat plant-based diet. Neil Bernard continues, another advantage of avoiding soda pop is you will avoid caffeine. Caffeine is a weak diuretic, and it causes calcium loss by the kidneys. So it'll increase your risk of kidney stones. You're also going to, just like with stress, you're going to pee out your potassium, which is going to increase your risk of hypertension. Plus, at baseline causes hypertension because it increases cortisol and catecholamines. Cortisol has a mineralocorticoid activity component causing reabsorption of sodium from the kidneys. That adds volume to the body, and it increases glucose and fat in the blood. Not good for health. Also causes osteoporosis. People in rural Japan and China, where McDonald's hasn't arrived yet, these are the thinnest, healthiest, longest-lived people with the least risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Yeah, and that's kind of like what McDougall would say. Look at the rice-eating Asians, before 1980, when they often ate 90% of their calories from white rice. 1 billion out of 1 billion were skinny. The lower the percentage of calories from fat, the skinnier the population. Okay, Richard Moore, MD, PhD. He's the guy who wrote that magnificent book, High Blood Pressure Solution. He said, you can't replace food with a pill. People need to eat a lot of potassium, magnesium, and fiber. How are you going to put that into a pill? He also made the point that pills can control blood pressure in terms of lowering the blood pressure amount, but they're nowhere near as beneficial as achieving the same results with diet. He says you get very little reduction in stroke risk with pills, but you get a big reduction in stroke risk when you improve the diet and you decrease dietary sodium. You increase the K-factor ratio of dietary potassium to sodium, and P for potassium, P for plants. Okay, a quick quote by yours truly. Fruits taste great, but are less filling than starches. Also, sugar hurts my teeth. It reactivated a cavity. I will never try that sugar diet business again. Okay, so that's the end of part 1.